Hello, my name is Rachel Mann and I'm an Anglican priest, writer, broadcaster and poet based in North Manchester. And it is an absolute delight to introduce to you my second Carcanet collection, Eleanor Among the Saints. At the heart of this collection is an extended meditation on a disputed figure, Eleanor Rykener, a medieval trans woman, a seamstress and sex worker. In these poems, I seek to provide a kind of imaginary archive for Eleanor. Eleanor was a figure who lived in the late 14th and early 15th century. Or did she? The only record we have of her existence is the note of her trial and the testimony given by the Lord Mayor of London against her. Perhaps this story is a fiction, perhaps a cautionary tale to try and regulate the behaviour of queer folk in that period in England. In one sense, I'm not sure it matters. This collection is an attempt to explore queer joy through this disputed figure, through imagining her in any number of unexpected, surprising, and I hope interesting situations. It is an attempt to create a mythology for a figure who represents, I think, as someone who's trans myself, a person who represents so much of the experience of trans people, both now and in the past, an experience which is always under question, which is so often erased, is typically treated as a problem. The composition of this collection took place over a number of years. After my first collection, A Kingdom of Love, came out in 2019, I wanted to take time and space, not least because of the impact of the pandemic, to find fresh articulations, new ways of trying to wrestle with language, to begin, perhaps for the first time in my life, to foreground some of my own experience as a trans woman, as a person of faith, and interrogate that through testing out the possibilities of language, the promise of poetry to reveal new significations, fresh inflection points. So I do hope that you find this collection interesting, challenging, troubling. In addition to the extended sequence, which explores this figure of Eleanor Rykener, there are two other sections in Eleanor Among the Saints. A section called Praise, which is itself an extended meditation and interrogation of the divine in relation to those extraordinary and troubling times that we experienced during the pandemic. There are poems which explore my experience of losing my own father in the midst of that pandemic and the emotional, psychological and spiritual fallout of that experience. Ultimately, that section, however, wishes to find a way of articulating praise under pressure, praise in a time of constraint. The final section of Eleanor Among the Saints is called A Charm to Change Sex. It is perhaps the most personal sequence of poems I've written an attempt to articulate, perhaps for the first time, my own wrestlings and wranglings with the complexities, the aporia, which are generated when one transitions from one gender to another. It is an attempt to be honest about what it means to be a body undergoing transition and change. It also seeks to investigate what it means to be a trans body in a world where trans bodies are seen as problematic. I do hope that ultimately this is a joyous, hopeful collection, a genuine opportunity to dwell in joy through the use of mystery, of mythology, of extended metaphor. For me, perhaps my favourite poem in this collection is found in the opening sequence. This poem is called Eleanor as Julian as Marjorie. It locates Eleanor among the saints, amongst Saint Julian of Norwich, Saint Marjorie Kemp, both near contemporaries of Eleanor, both celebrated figures, but people who have been recovered many centuries after they made their own contributions to English, their own contributions to life, seeking spiritual possibility and meaning. Eleanor as Julian as Marjorie. Hazelnut and tears, a meaning of eye. Consider the curve of salt water, its dribble down face. I am all meniscus holding back the edge of edge, and others might say ugly. I say holy. I swear there is nothing more beautiful than a face under pressure, nothing more like hope and hazelnut. And last hazelnut survives and shows the eternity, goodness as the red of raw, face as worst of winter, world without end. If I do not make it to tree, not even sapling, my sealed up body, my fury, a sufficiency, more than enough, universe is tears.